there's this consensus that Jews are very smart. Whatever they put their heads to, they figure out. That was my consensus also before moving to Israel. Now that I've been here and the longer that I'm here, my opinion is changing a little bit. Look familiar? This?
Does this look familiar? Because this is the new trending right now. Oh, you know what this is, right?
It's from Cheers.
This is from
L'chaim to all the Jews.
To all the Jews out there. Where's this? Remind me again, where's this from? Is this from
Ukraine? Kyiv?
Ukraine. Yeah, the Ukrainian beer. How do you pronounce that? You can't do that.
We were in that hotel in Kyiv, right? And the only decent beer they had basically was this. Whole Garden?
Whole Garden, yeah. Was it at the place? Where was that? Was it like on the rooftop when we sat there for one night dinner? When was that?
No, that was Oman.
Remember that?
Talking about Kyiv.
And Kyiv, right. That was, okay. That was 2 years ago. That was before this year.
Speaking of Ukraine.
Talk to me.
Talk to me about Ukraine. You know what? Let's not go in hard. Ask me how I'm doing. Ask me how my life is.
Oh, baby, let's go.
Pretend like you give a shit.
Oh my God, let's go. So, how you doing? I'm guessing there's some Ukrainian news?
No. They have this in Israel, Whole Garden. No. They obviously have it in beer stores in the U.S. as well. But in the U.S., beer is a very big U.S. thing, especially the fancy beers that we're into. It's hard to find good beer. In Israel, definitely not. But even in Ukraine, some of these other countries.
There's no good beers in Israel?
No.
So you're telling me you can't find a Corona, a typical Budweiser.
Corona coming from you is depressing. Of course they have Budweiser. I'm talking about good beer. IPAs.
No, but I'm saying
the stuff we like. Go ahead. They don't have the stuff we like. Let me pull up my list of favorite beers.
Come on, let's go. Pull it up. So in case some of you guys don't know, this is what Nuchi does, right? So he writes down, he has a list of all the good beers he likes, all the good beers he has, right?
Bro, it's on Trello.
And anytime we go to a bar, we go somewhere, he just pulls it up. Oh, wait a minute, what would you like today? And he just, hold on, miss. Let me just look at my list and see what I am in the mood of. So excuse me, do you guys have this? And like, what? No, we don't have, we don't. It's like a list of beers where we can't really find in any place, right? Like it's not it's not like beers that most typical bars have, right? For the most part.
The beers that we're into, I forgot I don't know if they're called craft beers. Craft beers, maybe is the name for it. But we're beer connoisseurs. Admit it. We're beer connoisseurs. Like we're really into beer. Meaning we go to the fancy beer store. We buy these IPAs and these. Look, let me remind you. You have I don't even know how to pronounce it. Pirate or Pirat is one of the top. You have
what is that beer?
From Omegang Brewery. Golden Monkey, Ballast Point, Sculpton IPA, right? These are named Apricot Wheat. We went ham on, right? From Ithaca Brewery.
There's some low moments of my life. Oh my
Bel Air Sour, Brooklyn Brewery.
Yeah. So then you have those people that are like, hey, come, let's go out for a beer. I'm a beer drinker. You know these people? I'm a beer drinker. They come out with some Budweiser and some piss.
Extra light.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, like didn't Corona recently make a no alcohol beer? We know someone who was drinking.
We know someone that drinks that. How can you not be embarrassed? And I'm not trying to mock anybody right now, but how do you ask someone for a Corona Virgin?
If you like the taste of it, right? It's all about the taste.
Do you like the taste of it though?
Sierra Nevada, hazy little thing IPA.
The sours are pretty good. The sour beers is my favorite.
Hell yeah. So I have a list on Trello. My whole life's on Trello. So if I ever forget what my good beers are, I refer to it. So when we walk into that beer store on the 303, what's it called? Cable Beverage.
Cable Beverage. Shout out to Cable Beverage. What a place. What a place. I mean, that's a place where you get raped, killed, but still, if you make it out alive, you got some good beers. It's a very spooky place, isn't it?
It's a cute
you walk
little...
in there and it's like, it's like a little...
A cute little underground thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You see these old men hanging out between the aisles, buying their beers, but it's a good place because they have everything. You can't find it in Target. You can't find it in the normal alcohol places. So that's the way to go.
Yeah, we've slowed down, but once you learn to appreciate a good beer. Oh, so what's the point? There's a beer like that, like I was just listing, the good beers that we're really into, not piss. Mm-hmm. They don't have that in Israel whatsoever. It's not that I know of. I mean, I've been to some places. No, so there are no real beer connoisseurs here in Israel. Well, I shouldn't say that. There might be some yechidim, some individuals who like beer here, but it's not a thing that I know of. And even in other countries, not as big as America. And their beer, baby, their bellies.
Why though? See, that's very interesting because it's not. I don't think it's America. Also, I think if you go certain countries, they do beers. Like that's what you find over there is good beers. Spain,
I'm sure there are some countries that are probably notorious for beer, but I don't know enough about it. I just know that Israel doesn't have anything. So when I find this, it's like this is basically one of the best ones I could get.
Speaking of that, what is Israel? What do they like? What's the thing in Israel that they have? Like they are the place where you get that, like chummus, pita. What is it in Israel that they?
Well, obviously, I just spilled my beer, so there goes that.
This
One
is where
sec,
this gets
we
very
gotta clean
unsafe.
up. We gotta clean up.
This is where in the podcast this gets very unsafe.
So Israel has Goldstad. They have some beers, whatever, piss beers.
No, but
anyway, what were you asking?
I was asking So what is Israel?
Oh, what are they good for?
What are they good for? What are they known for besides yelling at people and making people feel like shit?
Hello, Achi. Obviously,
I'm waiting in the line. This attitude. You live in Israel.
Obviously, chummus. My town has one of the best. When you come, I'm gonna take you.
Your town?
My little town where I live, Yerucham, has a place called Chumusia. Chumusia. So listen to this. This is interesting, actually. Okay. We don't know, as Americans, we don't know hummus as a dish or a meal. We know it as a side. You eat it with challah on Shabbos a little bit.
I thought they use it for water. They drink hummus instead of water.
So that's the stereotypical joking about hummus. But the truth is, when you live here, it does become more of something that could be turned into like a real food and a meal. So the place like Chumusia, you go to Chumusia, you buy this fresh made hummus with warm pita and a side or two. It's a meal. It's a lunch, and it's amazing. It tastes delicious.
Oh my God, just thinking about it. Oh, this is some soft, creamy hummus.
So you got to check it out.
Carry on.
It is very, very interesting. So I was joking the other day. I was sending my family a video of me eating hummus with schug, a schug that I bought here, like homemade, not like commercial, and had a really good taste. And I find myself eating that for lunch with some pita. Like you're Israeli when you're not going to peanut butter and jelly, you're going to hummus and schug. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness! I mean, there's some special hummus out there. But I remember when we were there when I was there last, I abused it. I mean, I ate it 3 times a day, and at some point, you don't want to look at it anymore. It was horrible. Eating this shit 3 times a day, hummus pita, falafel, hummus pita, and at some point, it's good, but you can't marry good. You know what I'm saying? It's like at some point, it just comes out of your nose.
You do get used to it. You get used to it, and it's like eating peanut butter and jelly. Some people eat it more often, some people less, but...
I'm guessing peanut butter and jelly was your thing?
I'm trying to think, and in the U.S., what's your go-to, like, for a quick sandwich or something? I don't know. But it's more common than peanut butter and jelly. I'm just saying, it becomes as normal to eat hummus for lunch Before,
So
hummus was a side. Now you can literally eat it for lunch.
Okay, so Israel is good for hummus, right? So that's what it is. What else is there in Israel?
I forgot. I got carried away with hummus.
No, that's not good.
I forgot we're trying to list some things that Israel's good for. Israel's good for a lot of things. Too bad I'm an imbecile and I don't know anything.
I feel like hummus is not good. Hummus is not enough. You got to give me more. You can't just say Israel's such a great country. Oh, why? Why is that? Because they make a good hummus. I mean, come on, you got to give me some more.
All right.
Got to be something else.
There definitely is. I just need time to think. Give me 3 days.
Exactly. I feel like that's not coming back.
You put me on the spot. I'm lost. I don't know what to say. In 1 hour from now, I have a whole list sending you 10-minute voice notes.
But this is the craziest shit, right? So you live in Israel. You would assume you live in Israel because you like what they're good for. You like what they provide. And it's like, I don't even know what they're good for. Like, I don't even know why I'm here. What am I? I think it's the hummus. I eat hummus every now and then. Bitch, so why
I could tell you. I thought we were talking about little stuff. You don't know this, but me and Sharon just recorded the last part of our Aliyah series.
Yeah, I know.
And,
yeah.
And it's going to be published. By the time this is published, it's already published. So we did actually talk about Israel. So if you're talking from a big perspective,
the good things about Israel,
culture and stuff like that is huge. I thought we mean like little things that they're good for. You could say, you could pretend, I don't know, you could say maybe they're better drivers, but even that is questionable.
Very questionable.
There's little stuff. There's little stuff that they could be better at, they are better at or good for, better at.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about in terms of like food and objects, not the human, not the personalities really, because like personalities, you can find good stuff and bad stuff in every place. You can say Spanish, Israelis, Middle Eastern, which is pretty much the same shit.
So just talking about food, for example, I could tell you my
food.
My opinion on the food is that
no.
If you're talking about high quality restaurant food, no, it's not even in the conversation, right?
And it can be, right? It can be.
But they have something that America doesn't have in kosher food, and I guess you could call it fast food. They have a plate, like for example, New Delhi. New Delhi, is it called? Yeah, I think it's called New Delhi. I go there all the time. I don't know why but it is called New Delhi. Anyway, it's a chain store.
No.
My point is, in Israel, you have somewhat of like this fast food notion. You have something like New Delhi, which is like Subway, but they do cooked stuff. A sloppy Joe, a Philly sandwich, obviously without the cheese. Ground beef, schnitzel, all kinds of hot proteins that they'll put in a sandwich. But it's the style of Subway in the sense that the bread is super soft. You can't get bread like that in the U.S. So breads, by the way, speaking of small stuff, breads, hands down, American bread American kosher bread doesn't touch Israeli bread. The softness, and it's just very different. So New
American
Delhi,
is better, you're saying?
No, Israel makes really good bread, but you have to eat it fresh.
Why is it? Why is it?
Their pitas and breads. You go to Chickies in Teaneck versus New Delhi in Israel. You can't compare the bread. New Delhi in Israel is like Subway bread. Soft and just slides down your throat. So breads is an interesting thing. But my point is, there's like this niche that you don't have in the U.S. So here you don't have the high end. You're not going to Mike's Bistro and stuff, places like that here. Are there some fancy places here? Sure. But it's different. I don't think it compares, and it's certainly not as many.
No.
America is really, really into $100 steak. America's really into fat and overeating and heavy, expensive food.
It's a culture. It's a culture in America, and it's a culture in other places also. France, Italians fucking eat. I mean, they goddamn eat, the Italians. The thing with America is
they eat
that
a lot of starch. They also eat protein.
We brought in all kinds. So the Americans have the cultures of. We have all kinds of cultures here. We have French, we have Italian, we have a Middle Eastern. You can find in New York City, you can find every type of restaurant in New York City. Every. With kosher, with all types. Indian food. So you can have all that, but then you go back to where they're coming from, right? France and Italy and all these places, you know. They are the real. Italy, you have the real Italian food. Get some pasta in Italy, forget about it.
So if you go to
the real pizza.
If you go to a large city like Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, you'll have one of each type of place, even kosher, right? But for example, but it's not to compare. Rockland County alone has 3 or more Chinese food places that are pretty decent.
Right.
In Jerusalem, you'll find 1 or 2. They're different. They're weird. They're not like the Chinese we're used to. So they have a different
Do they have Chinese
understanding
in Israel?
Food.
They have Chinese
Again,
in
the cities, you could find anything you're looking for, but very little. A suburb in New York will have more than a city in Israel. But that's regarding fancy foods. But there's this middle ground that they do very well. And it's almost like fast food. I'm not talking about McDonald's. They have McDonald's and it's kosher too. They have their own chains.
Is it though? Because I remember last time I was there. Is it kosher? The McDonald's in Israel?
Yeah. But they have something called Mexicani, which is really good. It's I wouldn't say it's like Carlos and Gabby's in Five Towns, because that's already a very elaborate Mexican kosher with a big menu. No. But it's like a small version of that. So they have Mexicani, where you could get these like little Mexican, in a burrito or a wrap, you could get some meats and stuff, or they have a chain, I think, called Meat Rolls, which is similar. So they have New Delhi, and they have these chains, and even if they don't have the chains, they have mom and pop shops in every place with those types of foods, and those foods are good, they're fast, good. And they're kosher. Yeah. So they're for the kosher world, they're better at that, I would say, in the kosher world.
This is the thing, though, right? So first, I have a story about Mexicana. Not really a story, but Mexicana. It's called Mexicana.
Mexicani. I don't know how Mexicani. I don't know.
I was on Birthright. We went to check out Mexicani. So we had we were in Eilat, right?
Eilat, yeah.
Eilat, right? So I fucked that up, didn't I?
I'm not so far from Eilat.
You're not so far from it. Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm in between Jerusalem and Eilat. I'm right in the middle.
Right. So the whole travel from one side to the other side of Jerusalem, like how far is that? 12 hours?
From Eilat, not very far. From Eilat all the way up to like Metula, like from end to end?
From go all the way up to down. Like go all the way up from one side of Israel to all the way down.
It depends when you drive. If in middle of the night, you probably do it in 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. In the middle of the day, 7 hours maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends who's driving. Anyway, when I drive, I'm doing 100 miles an hour. If you're in traffic.
By the way, talking about you driving, let's promote the video of the cars. Pretty good, by the way. I liked it every way. I thought it was amazing. The what was it? The Chevy video that you made?
Oh, it was a cute video. I didn't have any of my recording equipment, but whatever. Screw it. I figured I'll just knock it out. It was a good video.
Anyway. I think the whole doing the wheelies and things like that. It's fun. It's good recording. You had a
drone.
What's it called? You had a drone?
I had a drone.
That was good work right there. That is great work.
Thanks. I have my drone now, and we're going to use it. We're going to use it for any vlogging that we could do now. Any trips, I'm going to take it with.
Yeah, it's a good one. Go check it out. Whoever is listening, go check it out. Great video. You talking about the cars. If you like cars, racing, power, muscle. Great stuff.
Everything Hershey doesn't understand.
That's not true. Truthfully, I don't love cars. Cars are not I'm not obsessed with cars. But
tires, wheelies.
I can enjoy a good car, good muscle, the sound of it, the recording was great too. You had one shot where you're like coming down a hill and you had the sound just flying by. Great video. I think
you know how I got that sound from my professional recorder. Somebody stood out there with the recorder. Anyway, I did what I could with my camera phone. I didn't bring my equipment when I was in the U.S.
Great work. Look, it's just perfect. I watched it. I enjoyed it. It was great. So check it out. So we had back in we were in a lot. So we had curfew, right? So when you go on Birthright, they have curfew. They take you out to party. They take you out of clubs and do whatever. But then like at 12:30 at night, when literally when the party starts, right? They call everyone and they do like this little count, and everyone has to go back to the bus or to whatever, and then we go back to the hotel. So we go back to the hotel. It's 12:30, and it's like no one is going to sleep right now. Why would you go to sleep at 12:30 drunk, right? So two guys,
a bunch of single teenagers.
Those are singles, girls, boys is a bahula. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the testosterone. That too is in the air. I mean, every girl, every man walks around and you can literally see
the hormones.
Their hormones, the stuff that's not supposed to be seen, visible, is out there. As if it's like walking with you, right? It's like, it's a freaking mess. It's heated. It's hot. It's sweaty. It's like it's a whole
picturing like a dog just drooling and growling.
Oh my God. It's like you take dogs and put them in with cats. And they're not supposed to sleep together, but they kind of do that because like that's the only option we have. It's such a mess.
All in the name of Israel, promoting Israel.
Right. And I'm getting paid for it. I got paid. We got paid to do that, to have a good time. But honestly, like if anyone hasn't gone on or haven't been on Birthright, go do it. I suggest you to check it out. It's amazing. It's honestly great experience. So we decided to, break out, so to speak, and we're going to go and get some food. We were hungry, right? So we went to Mexicani to go get these big ass burritos. Oh my goodness. Oh, forget about it. It was long and it had like all the stuff in it. Like they put everything. Kola chevre. Everything went in there.
You like long things?
Yeah, well, that's not what I said. I thought it. I didn't say it. See what I'm saying? Like, here's what we just have to carry on.
There's a place like that here in Yerucham, and I could, I eat it once in a while. Yes, that's the type of food I'm talking about. That they do that well, and that doesn't exist in the U.S. In the U.S., okay, so you're gonna go to Chicken Chuck, or you're gonna go and you're sitting and waiting for like simple food.
It's not a great burrito, though. It's not a great burrito.
It's not perfect, but it's good.
We're talking about a kosher fast food burrito that is nice and big, as in you get a nice, not like a kadga whatever. You get like a nice and big burrito, and it tastes good. Let me tell you something. It was great. It had complete like Mexican style with all the cilantro in it and the tomatoes and the lettuce. And I remember when we ate it, it felt so good because when you eat something and you're not supposed to be there at that time, like you're not supposed to be doing that, everything just automatically feels better. It's like when I don't know if I should even say this or you can cut this out, but the point is like when you have sex and you're supposed to, as because you're married and you're trying to build a family or whatever, then I don't think it's like when you're not supposed to be doing that. So that's what I'm saying. If you can cut it out, you cut it out. But like anything that
we don't cut out jack shit. So you're saying instead of it being spontaneous, meaning planning something versus
something that you're not supposed to be doing, right? Like when we were kids and you're younger and then you're doing something that you know that your mom is not allowing you to do it, but you do it anyway. It feels so good. It feels like it has this extra.
So why do you feel that way eating Mexicani? Because it's in Israel and like you were eating chummus all the other days?
Oh no, because we weren't supposed to be there at that time. We snuck out. Remember, we were supposed to be in the rooms,
right,
supposedly sleeping with people. Ooh. We were supposed to we were supposed to be doing that, and then year by you're out there. The truth is, though, for them, they take responsibility. So they bring a group of people, and they're responsible on these people, and then people sneak out to go do whatever. They can't take responsibility. They can't watch over you or whatever they think they're doing.
No, I understand. that.
So I don't blame them for being very nervous and very anal about it. Like, oh, where did you go? I caught you. Because they said, if I catch you sneaking out, we might have to throw you off the group, which means they're sending you back and then whatever. So.
Right. Yeah, so that's the deal with Israel. Look, there's a bunch of little stuff. There's also a bunch of retarded stuff. They take the whole COVID and lockdown thing very serious, almost as bad as Australia. I had a ticket for next
Australia,
weekend.
What? You have what?
I had a ticket for next weekend to come visit my son. And they
back
decided,
to the States.
Yeah, they decided they're going to, America's a red state, so they're going to lock shit down.
That means you can't come.
You need special permission to leave. You need to get an exception. And what do they give exceptions on? Various stuff, like a funeral, something big. I tried getting an exception, they didn't let. But anyway, I heard that they're lifting it, that. This is Israel. Anyway, they changed the requirements a little bit. So I filed for another thing. I got approved. Anyway, I'm coming in this weekend. I'm jumping on a plane tomorrow because the pregnancy is getting close to the end. I don't want to leave next weekend. It's getting a little close. It's pushing it. So I'm going to come this weekend. But anyway, getting out is... Israel makes things difficult when it comes to government.
Don't they do that on everything?
Some stuff, I don't know. Some stuff are nicer here, but all of that stuff, all the government stuff, I think is worse.
Tell me about, let's say, when it comes to medical in Israel. Like, you have a doctor, your wife is pregnant right now, she's going to have a baby soon. How's that in Israel? Like that, all the whole, that side of
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, but
it can be good, right? I'm just thinking about this. Like this, it can be as good as the States, right?
It's pretty bad. A lot worse than I'm making it sound. And we discussed it. Yeah, we discussed it. Yeah, we just discussed it in the last podcast. So I'm not going to go over it again, but it's bad.
Okay, but it's not good, right?
We went into some details, but yeah, it's horrible compared to U.S. Compared to what we're used to. Real care, real compassion, real caring. It's horrible here. The system, absolutely horrible. So what are you left with? You're left with, like I said, culture, Judaism, different stuff. So it depends what you care about more. Quality of life. It's more about life, less about things, less about the pursuit of, the rat race, less about other stuff. So.
Well, I guess that's why it's hard for Americans to get used to that life. Americans think about Israel. I'll never go to Israel. But it's not that Israel is bad. I feel like they just care for things differently the way we do. They're just different. It's a different culture.
Absolutely. It all comes down to what do you want more, right? What do you value more in life?
Exactly. They value yelling at people, so they got that.
If you value luxury and materialism and perfect,
that's not what Israel is about.
As perfect as infrastructure could get, then yes, the U.S. is the most advanced in those terms. But life, culture, religion, your people, feeling home, taking a walk. You don't take when was the last time you took you walk in Pomona? You take a walk in Tuxedo?
No. I walk.
Where do you walk?
Something about me. I walk.
We are on the 17?
From the kitchen to my bedroom. Still walking. What are you talking about?
In Israel,
walking.
They have sidewalks. They don't just have sidewalks. They have sidewalks.
They have sidewalks
20 feet wide. It's a culture of
Can
life.
You imagine a place that care about people? That care about pedestrians? This is crazy. Come to New York. Imagine a place that cares about pedestrians. By us, you see a pedestrian, Get the fuck out of here. Get off the fucking road. This is what we do. Imagine a place that cares about the people.
It's definitely centered around humans and children. The parks here, you should see what the park looks like across from my apartment.
I know. There's really parks are on another level.
Kids actually spend time in the park. Where my mom lives in Rehovot, which is a much more populated area on Shabbos, in the park, everyone's out there. Adults, kids, they're hanging out, they're having a good time. Amazing. You don't have that in the U.S.
Yeah.
You're not. So it comes back to what I always say. In America, we practice Judaism. In Israel, we live Judaism. And it's just a big difference. In the U.S.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Right? Tifa Masas. In the U.S., you're living amongst Gentiles. You're living amongst people who are non-Jewish in their culture and their lifestyle. And you're trying, as a Jew, as a religious Jew, you're trying to fit in and uphold tradition and value in Judaism. In Israel, the country is Jewish. So even the non-religious person who doesn't keep anything, he knows that it's Hanukkah and he knows that it's Pesach. And there are hardly any cars on the roads on holidays. People are telling you, happy holidays. It's a Jewish holiday. It's not Christmas.
Like you said.
You're living Judaism.
You're living Judaism.
Very different.
It's like, and I like that a lot because it's like Christmas in New York City. When it's Christmas in New York City, you feel Christmas in New York City. Mm-hmm. You see trees, you see people all over dressed up like Santa. You feel the vibe of the holiday. Unfortunately for me, for us, it doesn't really matter because why do we care about this holiday? Or do we? Right. Some people care about it, but this is what you get in Israel. It's like you said, it's amazing. Isn't it? Like the feeling of Hanukkah, the feeling of Purim, the feeling of Passover, whether you're religious or not, it exists. It's there. You say happy Passover and you say happy holidays, it's...
Yeah. And you get it from everyone and anyone. So
yeah,
so that's why I said it just all depends what you value in life. But it is mind-blowing from the other side of it that it is mind-blowing how bad Jews are at running a country.
Oh, my goodness. It's like an office, a Jewish office, right? You go into a Jewish office, you just feel the Judaism it's like all over. It's hanging from the ceiling.
Exactly. No, it's exactly like that. It's chefs in the kitchen. It's like, we're Jewish. Most of our listeners are Jewish, right? We deal with Jewish crowd. Yeah. Jews are heavily opinionated, right? It's like I say,
oh my God.
People have opinions on what we're talking about here on the podcast. This is a podcast. This is a conversation. Feel free to come on and have a conversation with us, right? But Jews are...
It's like...
It's okay to be opinionated. Look, everyone has an opinion, right? Everyone has an opinion in this world. Typically.
That makes you feel like you're something.
But then there's having an opinion and feeling like your opinion needs to be heard. So Jews have this disposition that we feel like our opinions have to be heard. So, for example, you have somebody like us, for example, we're not shy or afraid to go on camera and discuss things, whatever. We know we may be right or wrong. It's not about right and wrong. It's just about sharing opinions and having a good time and having conversations. It's a skill that you try to hone in on, is learning how to have a conversation, how to disagree with people, But imagine people listening who disagree and they feel the need, let's say, to call you and tell you, that one point you made, and you chuckle to yourself and you're thinking, sure, you have a different opinion. Let's talk about it.
But this is not even about your opinion versus mine. It's my opinion, and your opinion is not really welcome. It's not because it's not welcome. I don't share my opinion because I want to hear yours. I share it because I share it. You choose to listen to it. It's not my problem.
Right. Well, this ties into what we were talking about in the other episode about modular. It's not about right and wrong. I could have a conversation with anyone. Anyone who objects to anything we say here, feel free to come on. I have no problem. I'll send you a Zoom link in 1 hour from now. I turn on the recorder. Let's have a conversation. It's not about right and wrong as much as it is what is meaningful to you in life. Our opinions are what's meaningful to us, and you might disagree. That's not my point, though. Jews are passionate about opinions. Now imagine Jews running a country. Where in politics, you have that same personality, and in politics, everyone is pushing for their agenda and for their opinion and for their way. It's the only way I could halfway make sense of the idiocy in Israel, in the Israeli government, because I don't understand it. We'll have to talk to Yuri about it. There's some people who might know. I've asked this question from a number of people.
Why it's being ran like that?
I've heard different theories why it's stuck in that. I would ask a simple question. Do you see how progressive and how infrastructurally sound, I wouldn't say, in the U.S. we also complain, there's no infrastructure, but you think there's no infrastructure there, come to Israel. You'll find out what no infrastructure means. You think there's no infrastructure in the U.S., go to Ukraine.
You want politics?
Go to some other countries. You'll find out what it means, no infrastructure.
You want politics?
But in Israel, Jews, forward-thinking, progressives, just look at America. We know how America runs. Half the people running Israel are Americans. Bennett lived behind my mother-in-law's house in Teaneck when he grew up. He's an American. He has an American education.
Really?
Yeah. So you would think that mentality, or not that mentality, the forward-thinking aptitudes would be applied in infrastructure and getting things done, but no. Israeli culture and mentality is so strong.
People that think like that, but maybe that's what it is. Here's the answer. Here's your answer. The answer is that people that think like that don't have the skill of setting infrastructure, setting the system for it to run that way. So you can have the opinion. We're good at opinions. I'm good at talking. But does that mean I'm good at setting up the infrastructure, setting up the systems? Maybe not. So here's your answer. They need some American people to do that for their country while they walk around and they build, they have opinions on everything, right? They'll build a great army, they'll build great machinery, great tech, but they won't be able to take the tech or whatever it is, and put it into system, put it into their country on the way, whatever.
Speaking of opinions, and I hesitate to share this publicly, but it's the truth, and I'm not afraid to speak.
Oh, this is going to be a hard one. Oh, I can feel it. Oh, I'm ready.
It might be highly controversial. It might hurt.
This is going to be a rough one. I'm ready for this drama.
Got to choose my words carefully. You never know who you'll offend.
Oh, you know what time it is.
There's this
Tell me.
Consensus that Jews are very smart, IQ-wise, and we're very good in certain domains. Banking, accounting, stealing, various things. Tech, cybersecurity, military. A lot of stuff we're very good at. Right? So there's this consensus that Jews are very smart. Whatever they put their heads to, they figure out. That was my consensus also before moving to Israel. Now that I've been here and the longer that I'm here, my opinion is changing a little bit.
That's a rough one. Israel's not happy.
I don't see it as much. Now, I will say like this. There are individuals, again, yechidim. There are these like 1%ers who are geniuses in their field, and they're in Tel Aviv and in IoT and security and high tech, and they're figuring out and creating great things. But your average Israeli, smart, they don't understand concepts, basic concepts that high school students in America understand. Of processes and infrastructure and getting things done and business and everything. So blame it on education, blame it on mentality, blame it on whatever. I don't know. Blame it on whatever you want. I don't know. You could blame it on education, blame it on culture, mentality. I don't know what you want to blame it on, but I just don't see it anymore. And it's depressing. It's not depressing. It's just, it is what it is.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Because you would think Jews, smart people, or not even Jews, but like the Israelis, whatever you want to call it, you would think smart people, they build, great tech companies. Science, they have the greatest science in the medical field, in the medicine, one of the best.
Right.
They have great stuff, but you would think that they.
So I see those as the exception and not the rule. It may just be that the middle class in the U.S., American Jews, middle class, may just be more exposed and more educated or more worldly than middle class Israeli Jews. I'm giving a hypothesis here on what it might be. I don't know. It's possible. So maybe you'll say that the cream of the crop, American Jews and Israeli Jews, are both very smart, geniuses, doing great business, great things. The middle class, maybe middle class Americans have a little bit more exposure and worldly knowledge and progressivism to understand certain concepts and Israelis don't. It's just an hypothesis. I'm trying to make excuses for why I said what I said, but the truth is, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing.
That was my point. It could be that you might be wrong. Maybe they do have the smartest people. I don't know. But the point is, this is your experience right now from what you're seeing.
Why does everything suck here? The simplest things. Go into an office building.
Pain right there.
Right? You go into an office building. Don't even get me started, but like the simplest thing, the types of stuff that I solve in business that I could
so difficult.
You could solve it in 20 minutes. Okay, give me 1 hour. I'll already give you 3 ideas how to solve it. 2 hours, and I could implement the ideas myself.
So difficult.
You're a country. DMV, post office, every single, the internet, the water, the electricity, everything is just so difficult and complicated, and they just don't get it.
Is there something behind that? That's what we have to find out, right?
Yeah, lack of brains.
No, but is it really that?
No, I don't know. It might be lack of education or lack of development.
They're just developed brains. I don't think it's the brains, because I feel like there's smart people all over the world.
No, I'm
just
saying
what it is.
But you could have a brain, but if it has no knowledge, if it has no education, then it has nothing to. It has no utilities to use. Then it's just a dumb
brain. It's just an empty brain, right? But I don't think it's that either. They have great colleges too, or do they?
They do. No, there's some reputable stuff here, but.
So there has to be something to it. We have to find out. We have to bring in an Israeli guy up here.
I know. This is what I'm saying. I got to
get an Israeli guy.
We're going to talk to Yudi about it. We're going to do some research. We're going to bring somebody on. I've been chasing the answers for months now. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any normal theories yet. And it's not just, now we're talking about locals. And then you still have the other issue of the government. Why does the government suck?
So that's the politic. That's that side of the conversation. But I want to know the Israeli person, the Israeli individual.
Jews
why the fuck are you so dumb?
Great accountants, great bankers. Why do we suck at running things?
Right, it's not dumb. I'm gonna take that back. It's not because Israelis are dumb, but there's just something to Israelis, like you explained it very well. Is the why this is like, just bring it together.
Is it because there are too many chefs in the kitchen? Everybody's hardcore about their opinion. Like, what is it?
That's a theory. That could be. It's just.
I think I've actually heard. I was talking to somebody randomly, and this is funny. I'm sitting in a taxi with the guy who talked like I can't even. He's like the stereotypical. He speaks English,
Israeli.
But he uses all the wrong words. He's so cute and so funny, right? Those are the guys you love. I'm actually going to go with him tomorrow. He's going to take us to the airport.
You're coming tomorrow already?
I'm flying out Thursday night, yeah.
So you're going to be here for the weekend?
Yeah.
God damn, what a life, huh?
This guy is so cute. Rami. He has that stereotypical... Okay, I come to be to the this, to the that. You know what I mean? How he talks. So funny. Anyway, I think he may have
sophisticated.
Somebody said something along those lines that.
No,
I forget what it is, but something like Jews like everyone thinks they're smarter than the other, or there's some kind of personality there that doesn't allow for normal collaboration, normal planning, normal execution. Maybe everyone's trying to outdo each other, or trying to be smarter, or not agreeing with. There's something. It's another theory, but
it's something very interesting to find. I would love to find out that side of the personality, the mental side of it. Why is it like that? You know, why is it like that? There's a lot of beautiful people, a lot of smart people, but there's something to them that, you know, we just have to find out.
So I wanted to talk to Yuri about this also, but the bottom line is that you would think that American freedoms would permeate Israel, and they don't seem to, not. And I don't know why.
No. But going from the States to Israel for a reason, because it's more lively there, because they don't live with so much the external stuff, right? Maybe this is why they are like that. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because I think it exists in Israel also. Like all the materialistic people. There's a lot of them too. There's materialistic people, you can find them all over the world. It's just a way of living differently than others. It's just a way of seeing life. That's what it is.
All right, look, we put forward too many theories already. Now we're going to have to get an expert. And
we have to bring in, but not an Israeli, because that's when you know you hit rock bottom. For an Israeli to explain the shit to you.
Right. No, we'll have to get an Israeli and an American and see if they agree.
Yeah, cat and mouse, and let them fight it out.
Right. See if they both say the same thing.
So we can bring Chicken Chuck guy up here. Tell us why the music is so goddamn loud in the store. What the fuck is he doing? Just loud music.
Yeah. Blasting it. Keeps him awake. Okay, again.
keeps him
we're
awake.
We're the brains.
You know what?
So, and we tell
him awake, and the customers out of the store.
And we joked to him about how loud it is. We couldn't hear each other. Right? We're in a restaurant. This Israeli's blasting loud music.
Blasting.
We're Americans. It's 11 p.m. We're trying to be calm. We just came back from a wedding or something. He's all happy about his music, and we're really blasting it. We couldn't normally talk to each other. We couldn't talk to each other normally. So and he thought like we're joking with him, and he just makes it louder or continues playing it. So again, what do you want to chalk that up to? Chicken Chuck or brains? It's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. I would say for the listeners that, hard topics, like topics that are philosophical, spiritual, psychological, or intelligent by nature, or dynamic topics like that, are difficult to do. You have to prepare. You have to do research. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be focused. You have to deliver it correctly.
You have to know it well.
If you say things wrong, you have to correct yourself. You know what I mean? Those are hard topics.
It's difficult.
This, in case in case you didn't notice, this is called shooting the shit.
As easy as it fucking gets.
Very easy to shoot the shit.
I have something else I want to offer or say to whoever makes it to the end of this podcast. If you have an idea or something that you want us to talk about based on, you're familiar with who we are, or I am, or he is, and you want us to talk about a certain topic, bring it up. Comment about it, put it on YouTube, whatever it is, whatever you're listening to, put a comment in, and then we'll try to please you and try to do that, because this is who we are. We please people.
Hey,
we love the people. So we want to have that conversation.